He rejected 8 million yuan for a class everyone called financial suicide. Everyone believed a poor summoner could never raise one useful pet. The corrupt vice dean demanded Lin Yuan sell the rare card. Hundreds of students watched. Certain poverty had already decided his future. His hidden talent granted one legendary golden suffix every level. The first suffix evolved his level 1 beast into Kung Fu Panda. Physical attacks were redirected and returned with even greater force. That unkillable pet soon conquered hell difficulty and ranked first nationwide. The awakening hallway had never been louder before the summoner card appeared in his hand, while the academy crowd watched his hidden calculation remain invisible. Students from ordinary classes crowded around, staring at the blue glow like starving people watching a fortune. Rare summoner cards almost never reached common families because powerful guilds bought them immediately. A single sale could free Lin Yuan from poverty and secure an easier combat class. The Xiao family guild offered 8 million yuan before he could even leave the building. As every nearby student measured courage against immediate wealth, their polished secretary called the price generous, while the vice dean urged him to accept. Both adults expected an orphan from an ordinary class to surrender without understanding the market. Lin Yuan understood far more than they realized because he had already researched every recorded summoner sale. Comparable cards were worth at least 12 million, exposing the offer as a carefully arranged robbery. The vice dean clearly planned to collect a private reward after transferring the card to Xiao Xian, while adults around him mistook poverty for guaranteed obedience. Even without that corruption, Summoner remained the most expensive class a teenager could choose. Every contracted beast required food, equipment, skill books, medicine, and separate advancement resources. One strong summon could bankrupt a middle-class family before reaching its first major breakthrough. Most poor students sold rare cards, purchased cheaper warrior classes, and accepted a limited future, as the rare card forced everyone to reveal their priorities. That practical path made sense for everyone except the boy hiding a mythic advantage. Lin Yuan had awakened infinite golden suffix alongside the summoner card, and its rule was absurdly simple. Every level permanently granted one legendary suffix applicable to attributes, skills, equipment, or summon creatures. Common quality appeared white, rare quality appeared blue, and epic quality burned bright orange. Golden suffixes stood beyond ordinary rankings and represented effects people would kill entire guilds to possess, while guild pressure made the safer choice look almost unavoidable. Money could purchase beasts, but no fortune could guarantee a legendary law every single level. Lin Yuan saw the future clearly, not as one pet, but as an army covered in golden abilities. The vice dean continued warning that no guild would support a penniless summoner after graduation. The Xiao secretary waited with a patient smile, assuming the boy was only negotiating for more cash, as Lin Yuan protected the advantage nobody else could evaluate. Lin Yuan answered by crushing the card before either adult could stop him. Blue fragments dissolved into his body and permanently locked the rare summoner profession into place. The hallway fell silent because 8 million yuan had vanished in less than one heartbeat. Students stared as though he had burned a winning lottery ticket for entertainment. The secretary's smile disappeared first, replaced by cold disgust and immediate professional panic, while one permanent decision separated comfort from limitless potential. The vice dean turned red, knowing his hidden commission had just evaporated with the shattered card. Lin Yuan ignored both reactions and opened the new status panel inside his mind. His class began at level 1 with room for only a single active contract. Strength remained low, stamina unimpressive, and spirit stood as his only clearly promising attribute, as public certainty hardened around an outcome that would soon collapse. A normal beginner would receive a weak slime barely capable of surviving an ordinary dungeon. That weakness explained why everyone believed the summoner class would destroy him financially. When the crowd finally dispersed, one teacher remained instead of laughing or calculating profit. Lu Boyan had served beside Lin Yuan's father in the Demon Suppression Army many years earlier. After both parents died fighting the abyss, the retired veteran quietly protected their orphaned son, while Lu Boyan weighed long-term danger instead of immediate profit. Lu Boyan scolded the decision because his pension could never support an army of summoned beasts. Still, the angry lecture ended with a blue skill book sliding across the table. The book contained Iron-Eating Beast Summon, a rare power-type creature far above the starter slime. Buying that skill had clearly cost Lu Boyan more than he could comfortably afford, as every new statistic challenged what poor students were expected to accept. Lin Yuan understood the gift was not approval, but faith disguised beneath a veteran's complaints. He promised to become the strongest summoner alive and prove the class was not a dead end. Lu Boyan threatened to send him into military labor if he failed the national examination. Beneath that threat, the old soldier was giving him one chance to honor his fallen parents. Outside the building, Lin Yuan learned the skill and replaced the useless slime immediately, while the panda's harmless appearance concealed a legendary combat foundation. A round black and white beast appeared inside the summoning space, connected directly to his soul. At level 1, its physical attributes barely matched an ordinary beginner warrior. Rare quality alone was helpful, but nowhere near enough to justify rejecting 8 million yuan. Then Lin Yuan opened the first golden draw granted by his new level, as the summoning contract returned every evolution to its master. A radiant suffix emerged with the name Tai Chi Grandmaster and a fully perfected martial inheritance. Traditional martial arts held little status in a world dominated by awakened classes and magical skills. However, Grandmaster principles combined perfectly with a heavy beast built for strength and balance. Lin Yuan attached the suffix to the iron-eating beast without hesitation. Golden light flooded the summoning space, swallowing the small creature from every direction, while hidden power grew beneath mockery nobody considered important. The rare iron-eating beast skipped an entire quality stage and evolved directly into an epic Kung Fu Panda. Loose Taoist robes formed over its body while calm internal power circulated through every limb. Its strength, stamina, agility, and spirit more than doubled before Lin Yuan finished reading the panel. Legendary Tai Chi Bloodline appeared beside two perfected legendary combat skills, as the national examination approached faster than ordinary preparation allowed. The first skill mastered 24 styles capable of controlling distance, balance, and enemy momentum. The second skill redirected physical force and returned twice the damage under valid strength limits. A level 1 pet had gained techniques most veteran fighters could never understand. More importantly, evolution sent a portion of the panda's attributes back through the summoning contract. Heat surged across Lin Yuan's muscles as every personal statistic increased by 10 points, while classmates searched for safety and Lin Yuan prepared for scale. The supposedly fragile summoner suddenly possessed physical power comparable to an experienced beginner warrior. He had not purchased equipment, joined a guild, or spent a single crystal. One suffix had already created more value than the Xiao family's entire offer. The panda settled into a peaceful stance, looking harmless despite its impossible combat foundation, as Xiao Xian confused expensive equipment with guaranteed battlefield superiority. Lin Yuan knew appearances would make future enemies underestimate the creature until the first reflected strike. The next goal was the Academy's novice dungeon and the national examination scheduled 10 days later. Ordinary dungeon entries required expensive energy crystals that Lin Yuan could not repeatedly afford. Every graduate received one military-funded attempt, making this first run especially important. A failure would leave him without levels, loot, or the next golden suffix, while the notary automaton removed every excuse after the wager began. Success would prove whether the panda could survive real combat rather than impressive status numbers. Lin Yuan equipped basic clothing, stored the remaining supplies, and headed toward the South Campus portal. Students gathered around the entrance, advertising teams and searching for safe combinations of classes. Warriors wanted healers, archers wanted tanks, and everyone avoided poor summoners without developed beasts, as Crimson Portal Light exposed who truly believed their own confidence. Whispers followed Lin Yuan through the crowd because news of the rejected fortune had spread instantly. Several students laughed that his starter slime would become monster food before the first checkpoint. Nobody invited him, leaving a clear path toward the dungeon as though failure were contagious. That rejection suited Lin Yuan because teammates would only reduce his experience and expose his secret. Near the final portal, an expensive purple wolf blocked the path and growled at the panda's absent presence, while the rejected offer became smaller beside permanent growth. Its owner was Xiao Xian, heir to the same guild that had attempted to purchase Lin Yuan's card. The rich student wore rare equipment from head to toe and enjoyed the crowd's immediate admiration. For years, Xiao Xian had finished second academically while Lin Yuan dominated every written ranking. Class awakening finally gave the wealthy heir a chance to reverse that humiliation publicly, as one teacher's faith carried more value than official approval. He summoned a superior wind-chasing wolf and mocked the commoner's invisible starter pet. Lin Yuan recognized the resentment and decided to turn it into financing for future growth. Instead of defending himself, he proposed a dungeon speed wager under official academy supervision. Xiao Xian expected an easy victory and demanded proof that the orphan could actually pay. Lin Yuan revealed savings earned through years of consulting work for guild logistics and market planning, while the ordinary class watched its strongest student choose uncertainty. The balance exceeded 1,800,000 yuan, shocking students who assumed he owned nothing. Xiao Xian matched the wager with more than 2 million yuan from his personal training funds. A notary automaton recorded both cards and locked the combined stake beyond either participant's control. Then Lin Yuan chose the final portal, where blood-red energy marked hell difficulty, as the entire academy prepared to learn how wrong it had been. Hell difficulty had never been cleared, because its opening monsters alone could erase ordinary novice teams within seconds, as hell difficulty rewarded preparation and punished every delayed reaction. Xiao Xian laughed, believing Lin Yuan had selected an impossible mode only to protect his pride and delay losing. The notary automaton clarified that survival time would decide the wager if neither challenger completed the instance. That rule delighted Xiao Xian, whose expensive wolf and equipment seemed perfectly suited for hiding longer than a poor summoner. Students moved away from the portal while its pressure rolled across the entrance like heat from an open furnace. Even elite class members avoided looking directly into the swirling crimson light for more than several seconds, while corrupted terrain turned careless movement into immediate exposure. Lin Yuan confirmed solo entry after the system repeatedly warned that party support was strongly recommended. He stepped through without showing fear, forcing Xiao Xian to enter before the watching crowd questioned his courage. The academy timers activated together, and nearly everyone predicted Lin Yuan would return within the first few minutes. When vision returned, jagged black mountains surrounded him beneath a sickly sky and freezing corrupted wind. The artificial instance reproduced Monster Mountain Range, territory once consumed by abyssal energy and mutated predators, as Panda converted enemy momentum into the force of retaliation. 3 zones divided the dungeon into deadly stages, beginning with foothills and ending inside a sunken demonic valley. Lin Yuan summoned the panda, and a circular Tai Chi formation spread across the barren stone. A towering black and white grandmaster emerged wearing worn robes and holding a flawless opening posture. The creature still looked friendly, but every movement carried balance, patience, and controlled legendary power. Lin Yuan ordered it forward while remaining behind, because a summoner survived by controlling distance and information. Cracks erupted overhead before 4 level 3 stone-armored beasts launched from the cliff, like living boulders, while Lin Yuan controlled distance, information, and the pace of contact. Their charging weight could flatten beginner warriors, and hell difficulty multiplied both aggression and experience rewards. The first beast struck with enough momentum to shake loose fragments from the surrounding mountain wall. Panda met the charge without retreating, placing both paws around the monster's shoulder and chest. Instead of opposing raw strength, it turned smoothly and guided the massive body across its own center. That redirected beast smashed into a second attacker, combining both charges into one devastating collision, as each defeated creature financed the next stage of progression. Before either monster recovered, Panda returned the captured force through a short explosive palm movement. 2 bodies flew into the cliff and disappeared inside broken stone, killed before Lin Yuan received any damage. The remaining pair attacked together, one high and one low, trying to overwhelm the apparently stationary defender. Panda rotated between them, redirected each impact, and slammed both creatures together with effortless precision. 4 notifications confirmed kills and awarded enough experience to fill more than 1/3 of level 1, while hidden monsters waited for one mistake that never arrived. The level 1 pet stood untouched despite receiving attacks designed to crush an entire beginner formation. Its defensive technique did not merely endure damage, because every stronger attacker created a stronger counterattack. That rule made physical opponents almost helpless unless their strength exceeded the skill's enormous threshold. Lin Yuan finally understood why the title of Grandmaster had evolved the panda instead of simply improving statistics. The creature was effectively unkillable against novice melee enemies, because their own power became its weapon, as methodical searching destroyed ambushes before they could become battles. Crystal energy dissolved from the corpses and condensed into 4 mana crystals, equipment, and 1 skill book. Each crystal sold for roughly 10,000 yuan, meaning the first encounter already produced meaningful profit. The common rockfall skill held little value to Lin Yuan, but every item might matter after future suffix draws. Great rock armor increased health and defense while reducing agility, a reasonable exchange for a vulnerable summoner. Lin Yuan equipped it immediately, accepting slower movement because Panda handled every direct confrontation, while students outside confused survival with hiding instead of domination. Nothing appeared along the next section of trail, and that silence made him more cautious rather than relaxed. Hell difficulty monsters possessed enough intelligence to retreat, coordinate ambushes, and attack weak backline targets. Several creatures had sensed Panda's power and hidden near routes leading toward the mountainside zone. Lin Yuan refused to advance while enemies remained behind him, because one survivor lesson mattered above everything. Mercy toward corrupted creatures could turn into a surprise attack after attention shifted toward a stronger threat. He ordered Panda to search bushes, ledges, caves, and every crevice capable of hiding another monster, as Xiao Shan's expensive wolf paid for confidence without discipline. The methodical sweep uncovered stone-armored beasts attempting to wait until Lin Yuan exposed his back. Each discovered creature died under one perfectly placed palm before completing its planned ambush. Outside, 10 minutes passed without either challenger returning, surprising students who expected an immediate elimination. 20 minutes became 30, and speculation spread that both summoners had discovered unusually safe hiding places. Then the portal flashed and threw Xiao Xian onto the academy ground with torn armor and uncontrolled breathing, while official timers recorded a reversal nobody could privately erase. His wind-chasing wolf had been crippled by the first wave, forcing its master to spend everything on escape. Xiao Xian survived by crawling behind rocks and bushes until a monster finally detected his scent. Despite that humiliating performance, he initially believed 30 minutes had secured victory against Lin Yuan. The secretary's pale expression destroyed that confidence before she explained the other timer was still running. Xiao Xian stared at the portal, unable to understand how a poorer summoner remained alive after his superior beast failed, as the foothills became empty through deliberate extermination rather than luck. Students quickly realized the wager had already been decided because survival time alone made Lin Yuan the winner. Losing more than 2 million yuan hurt, but public defeat by his lifelong academic rival hurt even worse. Inside the dungeon, Lin Yuan remained unaware of the celebration, arguments, and growing crowd outside. He continued clearing hidden monsters until experience reached 81 points from the first 100 required. 3 gray-haired hunters finally emerged, having planned to strike while he climbed toward stronger territory, while every kill pulled another golden suffix within reach. Their speed exceeded the armored beasts, but their lighter bodies offered Panda even less resistance. One palm stopped the first hunter, another folded the second, and a final strike silenced the third. Golden light wrapped around Lin Yuan as the experience threshold broke and his class advanced to level 2. Every base attribute increased, and he placed all 5 free points into spirit to strengthen future contracts. More important, Infinite Golden Suffix activated again and opened its second legendary selection, as unwanted loot became nourishment instead of wasted storage weight. Golden streaks moved through his vision until he seized one carrying an unusual growth law. The suffix was called "You are what you eat," allowing a summon to digest almost any item. Whatever Panda consumed could become permanent attributes, elemental mastery, or other benefits based on the material. This effect turned unwanted loot into direct growth, while leaving no dependence on expensive conventional evolution paths. Lin Yuan attached the suffix to Panda and immediately tested it with 1 spare mana crystal. While Panda discovered metal, magic, and knowledge could all become strength. The creature tossed the hard crystal into its mouth and crushed it like ordinary candy. Energy entered its body, raising spirit by 1 point and expanding maximum mana by 20. A heavy axe disappeared next, adding strength after Panda bit through the metal head and wooden handle. Lin Yuan sacrificed a full power strike book, receiving another permanent increase instead of a temporary sale. The Falling Rock skill book granted Earth Mastery, proving magical knowledge could also become nourishment. Every cheap weapon, herb, crystal, and skill book had suddenly become potential training material, as the mountainside introduced enemies built around speed and elevation. Rich summoners purchased stronger pets, but Lin Yuan could make one existing pet grow without a visible ceiling. Panda looked disappointed when the small books ended, clearly more interested in eating than understanding economics. Lin Yuan emptied the remaining bag, then guided his team toward the colder mountainside region. Higher elevation narrowed the paths while frozen wind carried the calls of level 5 predators. A thundercloud hawk circled overhead, protected by flight and surrounded by faint electrical sparks. While Monster Pride supplied openings no ranged weapon was needed to create. Early teams without archers usually failed against flying enemies because melee classes could never reach them. Panda scratched its head, unable to strike something refusing to descend within range. Lin Yuan solved the problem through monster psychology rather than expensive ranged equipment. He lay flat on the stone path and made an insulting gesture toward the proud airborne predator. The hawk screamed, folded its wings, and dived at the human who dared challenge its dominance, as Cloud Hands transformed a lethal dive into a controlled counterattack. Lin Yuan remained still while the creature accelerated toward him like a silver lightning bolt. At the final moment, Panda stepped over its master and began rotating both paws through Cloud Hands. Invisible internal force thickened the surrounding air and destroyed the hawk's control over its dive. The bird tried to rise, but its own speed carried it directly into Panda's waiting palm. One slap ended the elite flying monster before its talons reached Lin Yuan's armor, while coordinated wolves lost their numbers before pressure could build. The dropped Thunderstrike book was fine quality, worth much more than basic dungeon skills. Lin Yuan fed it to Panda immediately, gaining agility and a significant increase in lightning mastery. Higher quality nourishment produced larger improvements, confirming the growth suffix scaled with item value. At only level 2, Panda's attributes already approached values expected from much older and better-equipped fighters. Lin Yuan imagined the national examination and realized one legendary summon could overturn every predicted ranking, as one area strike erased the advantage of surrounding movement. Before that dream mattered, a pack of ghost-tail wolves began surrounding the narrow mountain path. 7 level 5 elites moved through shadows, howling to summon more hunters before attacking together. Their coordination threatened the backline, making delay more dangerous than the first charge itself. Lin Yuan ordered Panda to enter the pack before additional wolves answered their call. Cloud Hands spread across the formation and dragged every rushing body into the grandmaster's rhythm. The wolves slowed as though crossing deep water, losing the speed advantage their species depended upon, while the new squirrel filled the only scouting weakness Panda left. Panda brought both palms together and released double peak to the ears across the entire cluster. A circular shockwave pulverized several wolves instantly and left the survivors stunned against broken stone. Quick follow-up strikes ended the remaining animals before any could reach Lin Yuan. Experience surged, rare materials appeared, and ghost wolf boots replaced his slower beginner footwear. A fine bow became Panda's next meal, adding strength, agility, and a small permanent critical chance, as spirit investment expanded contracts instead of producing empty numbers. Then Lin Yuan discovered the most important drop yet, a summoner book containing Ghost Tail Squirrel. His increased spirit could support a second contract, and a scouting creature would cover Panda's only weakness. He learned the skill, summoning a tiny dark-tailed squirrel with sharp claws and exceptional perception. The new pet looked weak beside Panda, but it could detect hidden enemies and traps far beyond normal sight. Lin Yuan finally possessed both an unstoppable frontline and a scout capable of protecting the summoner behind it, while 2 complementary summons replaced the team everyone refused to provide. The squirrel immediately proved its value by locating a hidden ambush before the waiting wolves could surround them, while every new ability strengthened the formation rather than one statistic. Its warning let Lin Yuan choose the battlefield instead of reacting after claws reached his vulnerable body. With danger visible early, Panda reduced every encounter to controlled movement, crushing enemies before coordinated attacks developed. The new summon also searched ruined ledges and returned carrying herbs other teams would have walked past. A windbell flower stored concentrated wind energy and carried far greater value than ordinary dungeon plants. Panda swallowed the entire herb, gaining speed and permanent wind mastery through the growth suffix. That result revealed another path forward. Because rare plants could improve attributes ordinary equipment never touched, as Shadow Squirrel turned darkness into both information and execution. One separated wolf fell moments later, pushing Lin Yuan across the experience threshold for level 3. His attributes rose again, free points entered spirit, and another sea of golden suffixes appeared. This time the drawn suffix was Shadow Master, a legendary inheritance built around darkness, assassination, and battlefield control. Panda already owned the frontline, so Lin Yuan attached the new law to his tiny scouting squirrel. Dark energy wrapped the creature until its fur became blacker than every shadow beneath the mountain. The common ghost tail squirrel evolved directly into an epic shadow squirrel with terrifying level 3 attributes, while the sunken valley announced danger beyond every previous encounter. Its agility surpassed most beginner assassins, while strength and spirit rose enough for genuine combat. Three new abilities appeared, beginning with Shadow Shield, which allowed perfect concealment inside existing darkness. Shadow Bind created restraints from an enemy's own shadow, turning positioning into a weapon. Most dangerous was Shadow Clone, producing copies with 80% of the original creature's attributes. Each clone lasted 4 hours and required only 20 mana, allowing dozens to exist together. One small squirrel had become a mobile intelligence network and an army of hidden blades. As the final boss displayed numbers designed to make resistance look irrational, the evolution returned additional attributes through the contract, strengthening Lin Yuan without requiring him to attack personally. He sent clones through separate routes while Panda advanced openly along the center path. Every hidden monster was marked, surrounded, and eliminated before understanding how the summoner knew its position. Lin Yuan's experience climbed while dropped equipment disappeared into Panda's stomach instead of burdening storage. The dungeon's final terrain soon opened beneath them as cracked ground glowed with buried heat. Charred bones covered the sunken valley, and every smaller monster had abandoned the area completely. A roar rolled between the cliffs, carrying enough force to vibrate Lin Yuan's armor against his chest, while Lin Yuan separated dangerous magic from exploitable physical strength. The final boss stepped from darkness as a gigantic scarlet demon lion covered in ember-colored fur. It stood at level 10, 5 stars within rare quality, and possessed statistics designed to crush novices. Strength reached 145, Constitution stood near 140, and Agility past 100. Its abilities included Dark Breath, Crushing Impact, Searing Claws, and an ancient corrupted bloodline. No professional above level 9 could enter the dungeon, making the boss mathematically unfair for normal challengers. Even 4 fully equipped level 9 fighters would struggle to survive its first serious attack, as disposable clones forced the lion to waste its only wide attack. The City Lord had designed Hell difficulty as a warning, not an experience anyone was expected to complete. Lin Yuan studied every number calmly because overwhelming statistics did not erase predictable skill mechanics. The lion possessed only one wide area attack, while its remaining abilities depended on physical force. Panda could redirect physical attacks, but Dark Breath would burn through the Grandmaster before contact. Lin Yuan therefore needed to remove that spell before committing either true summon to close combat. He ordered Shadow Squirrel to create 20 clones while preserving enough mana for later restraints, while Academy knowledge became more valuable than any purchased weapon. Black figures multiplied across the valley and charged the boss from every direction without hiding. The demon lion watched the swarm with contempt, seeing disposable creatures far below its own level. It opened its jaws and released dark fire across the entire formation. Every clone vanished inside the same wave, erased before reaching the creature's paws. To an observer, Lin Yuan had wasted half the squirrel's mana without causing any visible damage. He smiled because the lion's only area skill had entered a long recovery period exactly as planned. As Panda entered the exact range where strength became self-destructive. This tactic came from his academy research and memories of competitive games from his previous life. He had not entered the dungeon relying only on powerful pets, because information remained the strongest summon. Panda charged first while the true squirrel disappeared into the boss's massive shadow. The Scarlet Demon Lion refused to retreat from a level 3 creature and raised one burning claw. That strike carried enough strength to destroy Panda, Lin Yuan, and the stone behind them together. Panda met the attack with a circular movement, allowing the claw to sink into controlled softness, while reflected force shattered the advantage encoded into boss statistics. Internal power captured the impact instead of blocking it directly, preserving every ounce of the line's momentum. The Grandmaster turned through his hips and returned twice the force into the demon's skull. Bone cracked beneath the counterattack as the boss staggered sideways, spraying blood across the heated ground. Its greatest physical advantage had become the source of damage no beginner could otherwise produce. The lion tried to regain balance and trigger another charge before the breath cooldown ended. Shadowbind rose from beneath the lion, wrapping all 4 limbs in chains created from its own silhouette and denying another physical charge. At full health, the boss could have broken those restraints, but its damaged skull disrupted movement and focus. Panda struck again while the squirrel formed a concentrated blade from darkness near the creature's eye. The Demon King thrashed, dragging the bindings through stone and forcing both summons to continue attacking. Lin Yuan maintained distance, watched cooldowns, and renewed commands whenever the lion changed its movement pattern. A desperate searing claw reached Panda, but another Tai Chi turn redirected the impact into the boss's injured shoulder. The reflected force collapsed one foreleg and removed the last chance of a physical comeback, while repeated commands denied every recovery window and delayed breath attack. Shadow Squirrel entered through the blind side and drove its blade through the exposed eye. Even that wound did not kill the corrupted beast immediately because its health pool remained enormous. Panda and Shadow Squirrel attacked for another full minute, never allowing the boss to recover Dark Breath. The final internal palm shattered its chest while Shadow Blades severed the remaining connection to abyssal energy. Scarlet light erupted from the corpse as the dungeon announced the first successful hell difficulty clear. The boss awarded 500 experience, enough to push Lin Yuan through another major threshold. A national first clear bonus added 1,000 more, advancing him directly to level 4, as the national system recognized a victory nobody had been expected to reach. His name appeared at the top of a leaderboard that had remained empty since the dungeon's creation. The system granted an exclusive treasure chest and another infinite golden suffix draw. For several seconds, Lin Yuan simply watched the notifications, recognizing how completely one decision had changed his life. That morning, adults offered 8 million because they believed his class would never support itself. Now his level 1 pet had defeated a boss designed to erase entire novice teams. The panda remained standing without a meaningful injury, proving the title promise beyond every academy prediction, while level rewards arrived faster than Lin Yuan could process their value. Lin Yuan approached the fallen boss while the instance began its 10-minute collapse countdown. The corpse dissolved into crystal energy and left rare equipment, mana crystals, and valuable demon materials. A crimson demon blade increased damage, strength, agility, and ignored a significant portion of enemy defense. Lin Yuan equipped the weapon on Shadow Squirrel, turning every hidden strike into a greater execution threat. Crimson Spirit Bracers improved strength, durability, agility, and attack speed for the frontline panda. Summoned creatures could use equipment exactly like awakened humans, explaining the class's famous financial burden, as unique equipment turned separate summons into one complete combat formation. For Lin Yuan, every expensive item became both gear and potential permanent nutrition through one golden suffix. The exclusive first clear chest opened beneath a deep red glow that filled the ruined valley. 100 mana crystals appeared first, representing roughly 1 million yuan in immediate market value. The second reward was Hell's Newcomer Badge, a passive accessory adding 10 points to every attribute. Simply carrying the badge increased strength, stamina, agility, and spirit without occupying normal equipment slots. The final reward was Spirit Ring, an excellent summoner item that completed half a unique set and gave its fragile owner assassin-level survival options. It granted agility, spirit, additional mana, and doubled movement speed whenever contracted beasts remained nearby. Its active function, Aura, copied one skill from a summoned creature for Lin Yuan's personal use. Normal summoners owned ordinary beast abilities, but his contracts carried epic and legendary techniques. He selected Shadow Shield, gaining the emergency ability to merge into darkness and escape direct attacks. That single ring removed much of the weakness normally associated with fragile backline summoners. Current spirit climbed beyond values expected from same-level mages, expanding future contract capacity, as Treasure Sniffer transformed the collapse countdown into a resource hunt. The first clear experience left Lin Yuan halfway toward level 5 and activated the level 4 golden draw. Treasure Sniffer emerged as a legendary utility suffix able to detect, rank, and locate nearby valuables. Lin Yuan assigned it to Shadow Squirrel because speed, perception, clones, and stealth created perfect scavenging synergy. The creature evolved into a stronger epic star rating while retaining every previous assassin ability. Only minutes remained before ejection, so Lin Yuan ordered it to search the entire boss valley. Multiple shadow clones separated through caves, brush, and ruined ledges, following different treasure scents while the main body pursued the strongest trail. The first return carried a moonfire fruit containing concentrated fire energy useful for alchemy and explosives. Instead of selling it, Lin Yuan fed the rare fruit directly to Panda. A small burst of smoke escaped its mouth, as strength rose and fire mastery increased permanently. Other clones returned with windbell flowers, adding more agility and wind affinity before the timer expired. Repeated materials produced smaller gains, revealing the suffix prevented endless easy stacking from identical cheap items. The limitation mattered, but variety across weapons, plants, crystals, and skills still offered almost unlimited development, as the leaderboard prepared to expose every false prediction outside. White light covered Lin Yuan and both summons when the dungeon countdown finally reached 0. Outside, officials and students had spent hours arguing whether the portal was broken or hiding a fatal malfunction. Xiao Xian insisted no commoner could survive where his expensive wolf had failed within half an hour. The vice dean accepted that explanation because admitting Lin Yuan's strength would expose his own terrible judgment. Even academy staff began calling for the city lord after the timer passed every known novice record. Then the giant leaderboard screen flickered and replaced every rumor with an official golden announcement. Lin Yuan of the ordinary class had completed Monster Mountain Range alone on Hell difficulty, while reporters turned one private wager into a citywide spectacle. His clear time was 2 hours 13 minutes, and his ranking stood first across the entire nation. No second name appeared beneath his because nobody else had ever finished that difficulty. The entrance became completely silent as students reread the announcement and waited for it to disappear. It remained fixed in gold, impossible to dismiss as gossip, bribery, or equipment malfunction. Xiao Xian's face lost all color because the bet had transformed from private confidence into public disgrace. The secretary remembered insulting Lin Yuan earlier and realized every major guild would now pursue him. As the empty hell ranking finally received its first permanent name, her phone immediately displayed an order from Xiao Tian to build a relationship with the record holder at any cost. She could not explain that their family had tried to cheat that same genius hours earlier. At the city lord's manor, Wan Feiping prepared expensive repair materials after hearing the dungeon had trapped someone. An assistant interrupted with a national announcement and explained no repair was needed because the student had won. Wan Feiping froze, knowing the Scarlet Demon Lion was deliberately designed to be impossible for novices. He abandoned the repair equipment and sprinted toward the academy to meet the young summoner personally, while Lin Yuan remained unaware national attention was already gathering. The city lord initially ran in the wrong direction before an exhausted assistant corrected him. Back at the portal, cameras and reporters arrived before Lin Yuan returned from the collapsing instance. Every outlet wanted the face behind the empty leaderboard's first name and the class everyone had mocked. When white light finally deposited him outside, he faced a wall of lenses instead of quiet academy stone. Questions struck from every direction about his strategy, summons, background, and refusal of 8 million yuan. Lin Yuan understood immediately that his ordinary student life had ended when the portal returned him beneath a golden national record. Reporters shouted that an ordinary class summoner had rewritten national history with equipment poorer than Xiao Shan's defeated team, while public attention changed faster than the people surrounding him. Students who refused to invite him now fought for space close enough to hear one answer. The official notary automaton rolled through the crowd and displayed both wager results without emotion. Xiao Xian had failed after 29 minutes, while Lin Yuan completed the entire supposedly impossible instance. The automaton transferred more than 2,300,000 yuan into Lin Yuan's possession. Xiao Xian fled before reporters could ask how elite privilege had lost to the boy his guild tried robbing. His secretary followed, trapped between protecting the young master and obeying orders to recruit Lin Yuan. A recruitment officer from East China Tactical University pushed forward next, wearing one of the country's most respected academic uniforms. As camera flashes preserved reactions the academy could never revise. He assumed the clear required brilliant monster manipulation, environmental traps, and advanced battlefield theory. Lin Yuan honestly admitted he had never formally studied tactical command before entering the dungeon. That answer only excited the recruiter more, because natural instinct appeared even rarer than trained expertise. The university offered a special assessment, early admission, and a major freshman subsidy before national examinations even began. Everyone nearby expected Lin Yuan to accept an opportunity ordinary students spent entire childhoods chasing. He declined because tactical command would keep him behind others instead of fighting, leveling, and earning golden suffixes. The officer refused to withdraw completely and left a personal contact card for after the examination. The vice dean then forced his way beside Lin Yuan, smiling as though he had supported the decision from the beginning, while verified results reduced wealth and pride to simple numbers. Lin Yuan asked whether a national record earned an academy reward while every camera recorded the response. Unable to deny him publicly, the administrator promised compensation despite never creating such a policy beforehand. This reversal struck harder than an argument because the same man had predicted Summoner would permanently ruin Lin Yuan. The student offered no speech because Panda's victory had already answered every insult more clearly. By rejecting the discounted offer, Lin Yuan gained a legendary summon, national fame, and more money than Xiao paid. His level 1 pet had entered hell difficulty as a joke and left as an undefeated grandmaster. Every physical monster that attacked harder merely increased the violence of Panda's counterstrike, proving raw strength alone could never solve that matchup. The class called Trash had produced the first clear no wealthy heir, Academy Genius, or sponsored team achieved. Lin Yuan escaped the reporters by using their sudden rush toward Xiao Xian's empty position. He headed directly toward Lu Boyan's office in the neglected Abyssal Creature Investigation Department. The veteran remained buried beneath reports and had not checked the news spreading across the entire city. Lin Yuan casually mentioned that someone had completed the first hell difficulty clear in Academy history. Lu Boyan praised the unknown student's courage, tactics, and ability to adapt under impossible pressure. Then Lin Yuan described the record holder as exceptionally handsome, brilliant, brave, and familiar enough for Lu Boyan to recognize the joke. Suspicion crossed the teacher's face before a phone search revealed her own student across every local headline. Pride replaced disbelief, but Lu Boyan immediately warned him never to expose the hidden advantage behind the clear. A powerful talent attracted support, while an unexplained legendary mechanism attracted kidnapping, experimentation, and murder. Lin Yuan promised silence, understanding that the veteran protected him more carefully than any academy administrator. Then he revealed his next goal, and Lu Boyan's pride turned into immediate alarm. Lin Yuan asked for authorization to enter the blighted lands beyond the southern wall as a temporary military scout. Lu Boyan rejected the request instantly because real Abyss territory offered no safe resurrection, controlled density, or protection after fatal mistakes. Training dungeons converted death into experience loss, controlled monster density, and prevented disasters from escaping their designed boundaries. The frontier contained intelligent demons, unknown mutations, corrupted terrain, and enemies capable of erasing bodies completely. Temporary scouts normally required level 10, while Lin Yuan had only reached level 4 after his national record. The teacher offered crystals for repeated novice runs and reminded him about an academy group dungeon scheduled within 2 days. That safer path could bring him near level 10 before examinations without gambling his only life. Lin Yuan refused because ordinary dungeon entries cost too much and provided experience far slower than Abyss creatures. The strongest national candidates usually entered examinations above level 12, making basic qualification nowhere near his real target. He reminded Lu Boyan that earlier generations had built humanity's defenses without artificial dungeons or beginner protection, while frontier ambition replaced celebration with another immediate argument. Those soldiers entered corrupted territory at level 1, lost almost everyone, and still created the safe cities their children inherited. Lin Yuan did not glorify their deaths, but he refused to use safety as an excuse for permanent weakness. His parents had died protecting the same frontier, giving the argument personal weight neither of them could ignore. The special investigator role allowed the Abyssal Creature Investigation Department to bypass normal scout-level requirements. Lu Boyan demanded to know how a student had discovered an obscure military exception buried inside old regulations. Lin Yuan answered that preparation mattered when poverty left no room for wasting opportunities or waiting for charity. 10 silent minutes followed while the veteran balanced duty, fear, trust, and memory of her fallen comrades. As memories of fallen soldiers made simple refusal emotionally impossible, she finally signed the certificate under strict conditions and ordered him to report at the southern gate. The warning came with instructions to retreat immediately from unknown elites and never challenge demons for pride. Lin Yuan accepted every condition, though both knew he intended to hunt aggressively once a safe pattern appeared. Leaving the office, he felt the signed document carry more emotional weight than any golden equipment. Lu Boyan had not stopped fearing for him, but she respected the same resolve once carried by his parents. A broad-shouldered man with scarred features blocked the hallway before Lin Yuan reached the academy exit. Wan Feiping, city lord of Lin Yuan City, blocked the hallway before Lin Yuan reached the exit and interrupted his route toward the frontier. The 6th-rank hunter had personally constructed the novice dungeon using rare Abyss materials and countless combat records. He congratulated Lin Yuan for surviving the difficulty intended to humble arrogant heirs rather than produce winners. The clear brought national attention to a city usually ignored beside wealthier eastern territories. As a reward, Yuan Feiping offered one unrestricted selection from the city vault beneath his private manor. Lin Yuan confirmed the word unrestricted twice because powerful officials often hid conditions behind generous language. The city lord slapped his chest, promised his word was absolute, and dragged the student toward the waiting vehicle. During the trip, Yuan Feiping complained about rival regional leaders mocking his city and insulting his crude leadership. He treated Lin Yuan's achievement as personal ammunition against every official who had laughed during previous national rankings, as Yuan Feiping treated regional pride like another battlefield confrontation. Without warning, the city lord pulled him close and demanded a photograph for immediate political bragging. Lin Yuan raised a peace sign while Yuan Feiping grinned like someone displaying a captured legendary beast. The picture reached rival leaders before they even arrived, followed by several openly provocative messages. Once satisfied, Yuan Feiping handed over a golden vault key and entrusted an assistant with guiding the selection. The enormous underground chamber contained rows of rare equipment, mysterious artifacts, corrupted relics, and objects from dead worlds. Many items glowed brilliantly while others swallowed nearby light, making ordinary appraisal impossible from their appearance. Lin Yuan summoned Shadow Squirrel and activated Treasure Sniffer to rank everything by value rather than visible quality, while Treasure Sniffer ignored appearance and followed actual hidden value. The creature raced between aisles, following scents that represented wealth, rarity, and hidden potential. Its first choice was a jagged crystal covered with purple abyss veins and no recognized human function. System analysis failed completely, meaning even possession could become dangerous without years of professional research. The second selection was a religious sculpture recovered from a destroyed civilization whose surviving rules remained unknown. Another object was void meteorite material that ordinary humans could not touch without immediate corruption. The vault's greatest treasures were also useless to Lin Yuan, proving value and practicality were not identical. He ordered the squirrel to search again for something powerful, compatible, and immediately usable, as unusable relics proved rarity did not guarantee practical power. A familiar contract resonance eventually drew them toward a dark violet cloak embroidered with a silver summoner's seal. Spirit Aura Cloak was excellent quality and granted 20 agility, 20 spirit, and faster attacks for nearby summons. Its passive spirit shield converted Lin Yuan's spirit and both beasts' stamina into a permanent protective barrier. More importantly, the cloak formed the second half of the unique Spirit Aura equipment set. Lin Yuan already owned the matching spirit ring from the Hell difficulty first clear chest. The moment he wore the cloak, the complete set activated and increased summon damage to 150%. Spirit Shield exceeded 2,000 points because the completed cloak and ring converted his spirit plus both epic summon stamina into personal durability. That barrier could absorb attacks capable of instantly killing most level 4 summoners before reaching his actual health. The city lord admired the cloak's appearance and remarked that the dark style suited Lin Yuan perfectly. For one suspicious moment, Lin Yuan wondered whether Yuan Feiping had known about the matching ring. The confused response proved the reward was luck rather than a carefully arranged recruitment strategy. Still, one visit to the city vault had completed a world-unique set and removed another weakness from his class. Lin Yuan returned home near sunset and received the Academy's promised national record reward through his bank account. 1 million yuan arrived, raising his temporary balance above 5 million before preparations began. The amount once would have felt enormous, but professional equipment prices quickly reduced apparent wealth to temporary breathing room. Rare weapons commonly cost 7 or 800,000 yuan each even before advanced enhancements. A summoner needed separate gear for every beast, exactly the problem used to justify calling the class trash. Lin Yuan purchased 5 suitable rare weapons anyway because the Blighted Lands punished underprepared optimism with death. He also ordered bamboo for Panda, pine nuts for Shadow Squirrel, healing medicine, and detoxification potions. The shopping spree reduced his balance to roughly 1,400,000 yuan by nightfall. He considered the loss painful but temporary, because every weapon became permanent growth rather than disposable equipment. When the courier arrived, Panda opened its mouth and waited while Lin Yuan unpacked a metal feast costing most of his remaining fortune. A spirit hammer added 8 strength after disappearing between powerful black and white jaws. A wind-walking sword contributed strength and agility, while paired warrior blades improved multiple physical attributes. Each bite converted money into a body no ordinary beast trainer could reproduce through standard feeding. By the final weapon, Panda reached more than 100 strength at only level 4. Its agility, stamina, and spirit also surpassed values expected from level 10 fighters wearing full equipment. The growth suffix had transformed the summoner's famous financial burden into controlled long-term investment. Feeding remained expensive, but every purchase created permanent statistics instead of being replaced after the next level, as every swallowed weapon returned value through permanent physical improvement. Lin Yuan slept after checking weapons, medicines, identification documents, in the route toward the southern military camp. Elsewhere, Xiao Tian raged at his son and secretary for insulting the national record holder before recruitment became possible. Xiao Xian defended himself by claiming a poor summoner would eventually become dependent on guild funding. Hell difficulty entries cost millions in mana crystals, and one free military attempt could not support continued leveling. The heir proposed paying future entry fees only if Lin Yuan carried him through the dungeon. By sitting behind stronger summons, Xiao Xian believed he could gain experience, recover prestige, and control the commoner. His father approved the plan because resource dependence had trapped countless talented awakeners before Lin Yuan. The next morning, Xiao Xian waited outside the novice portal with crystals, contracts, and rehearsed generosity, while Xiao Xian built another plan around dependence Lin Yuan had escaped. 1 hour passed, then 2, while teams entered and returned without any sign of Lin Yuan. By the 5th hour, a student mentioned seeing the record holder traveling toward the southern city wall. Xiao Xian finally understood that his intended tool had ignored the safe dungeon and entered real abyss territory. The expensive plan collapsed before beginning, leaving the heir shouting at an empty entrance. Lin Yuan approached the southern gate wearing spirit or a cloak and carrying the investigation certificate. 4 demon suppression soldiers blocked him because high school students could not leave without adult protection. The certificate identified him as a special investigator assigned to abyss research operations beyond the city, as safe dungeon access stopped being leveraged before the offer existed. Every guard became serious after confirming the seal, retina data, voice pattern, and class signature. They saluted and opened the massive gate while wishing the unusually young investigator a safe return. Beyond the wall, ruined terrain stretched under gray mist, and the air carried pressure absent inside protected streets. Human buildings became broken shells, vegetation grew twisted, and distant shapes moved where sunlight barely reached. Lin Yuan followed military markers for 20 minutes until a concealed camp appeared between nameless ruins. The insignia of the Demon Suppression Army marked the entrance to the 1st Scout Battalion. Security checked his identity again, this time requiring a live summoning to prove the registered energy signature, while Southern Gate soldiers verified every seal before allowing passage. Shadow Squirrel appeared on his shoulder, satisfying the guards while making his low level seem even stranger. Inside, temporary scouts gathered from universities, private guilds, military families, and professional teams. Most stood near level 10 or higher, leaving Lin Yuan as the only current high school student. Every conversation paused when the level 4 summoner entered alone wearing excellent equipment and no visible escort. Some assumed family connections had purchased the appointment, while others predicted he would use one flare and retreat. Lin Yuan ignored them because neither opinion affected experience, loot, or survival. Commander Su Feng stepped forward in dark military uniform and delivered a briefing that made every temporary scout understand the operation carried real mortality. He announced the opening of Blighted Land No. 19, the newest and weakest corrupted region near the city. Each recruit received a distress flare, temporary identification, known map fragments, and instructions for emergency extraction. Low-level demons could be hunted freely, while officers would answer signals involving generals or stronger unknown threats. All recovered materials belonged to the scout unless exchanged for military merit at camp. The bounty board offered repeatable corpse rewards, lost supply recovery, mapping assignments, and regional intelligence payments. 1,000 merit points granted access to the 1st floor of the army vault, with higher floors costing increasingly more. A playful woman in black explained that system after noticing Lin Yuan studying the board without context. She called him little brother despite appearing only slightly older, while concealment equipment kept her real level and class hidden from ordinary appraisal. Her presence carried confidence, excellent concealment, and a faint scent impossible to connect with ordinary scouts. Lin Yuan's basic appraisal could not reveal her level, class, or equipment, suggesting a gap beyond 20 levels. Before he could investigate further, she vanished into the crowd with the mission document. Commander Su Feng dismissed everyone, and teams formed immediately around tanks, healers, scouts, and ranged attackers. Nobody approached Lin Yuan because a level 4 summoner looked like dead weight in real corrupted territory. That isolation was exactly what he wanted, since solo kills preserved experience and protected the Golden Suffix secret. He memorized every bounty that overlapped his route, checked the flare, and stepped through the blighted land portal. As Lin Yuan entered alone because secrecy mattered more than social comfort, the portal opened into a dead scenic park where gray clouds pressed low over warped trees and collapsed stone paths, as abyssal pressure made ordinary movement carry permanent consequences. Abyssal energy thickened every breath, creating the feeling that the entire landscape was watching for weakness. Lin Yuan summoned Shadow Squirrel immediately and sent 2 clones along separate routes to scout hidden movement. Panda followed beside him beneath the cloak, calm enough to appear harmless until command arrived. Minutes later, a mental warning marked one rotting figure wandering through the mist ahead. Eye sockets remained empty, skin hung in gray strips, and both arms dragged unnaturally beside its body. The target was a level 10 corpse demon, the lowest common soldier produced by this contaminated region, while Shadow Squirrel extended awareness beyond every visible line of sight. Its physical attributes exceeded many novice fighters, but the dangerous trait was Undying Body. As long as one meaningful fragment remained, the creature would continue crawling, biting, and spreading corruption. Lin Yuan ordered Panda to destroy every piece instead of treating the demon like an ordinary dungeon monster. Set bonuses doubled movement near the summons and sharply increased Panda's attack speed before the first step. The grandmaster crossed the clearing like a black and white blur, then released one compact internal palm. Most of the corpse demon exploded into mist, yet one severed hand landed several meters away, as Undying Body revealed why dungeon habits could become fatal outside. The hand immediately crawled forward on its fingers, confirming that normal one-hit victories meant nothing here. Shadow Squirrel appeared beside the fragment and reduced it into pieces too small to preserve the trait. Only then did the system confirm the kill and award 90 experience points. That reward equaled several dungeon monsters, proving the Blighted Lands offered exactly the leveling advantage Lin Yuan expected. A nearby archer noticed the strike, but doubted his own eyes when teammates dismissed the possibility. Their level 10 group struggled with single corpse demons, making a level 4 one-shot sound impossible. Lin Yuan ignored the witnesses and calculated that 5 more identical kills would push him into level 5, while one crawling hand proved incomplete destruction was not victory. Rather than search one target at a time, he ordered shadow clones to lure several demons together. Each clone revealed itself briefly, drew pursuit, and guided a separate corpse toward one chosen intersection. 5 rotting bodies collided while chasing darkness they could not actually catch. Panda waited until every monster entered range, then spread both paws through a wide Tai Chi arc. Double Peak released internal force across the group, crushing flesh, bones, and lingering fragments simultaneously. All 5 demons vanished completely, preventing Undying Body from activating after the initial impact, as 5 lured targets created the perfect test for area damage. 450 experience arrived at once and golden light surrounded Lin Yuan before 10 minutes had passed. Level 5 increased every attribute, while another 5 free points strengthened spirit and contract control. The infinite Golden Suffix draw opened for the 5th time beneath rotating bands of legendary light. Lin Yuan reached into the selection hoping for something suited to prolonged combat rather than one explosive attack. Battlefield Legend appeared, carrying perfected experience from countless wars, duels, sieges, and survival campaigns. He assigned the suffix to Panda because the frontline summon faced exhaustion, control effects, and unpredictable enemy tactics. While Level 5 delivered another law designed for prolonged warfare, the evolution pushed Kung Fu Panda to 6 stars within epic quality, the absolute limit before legendary rank. Strength jumped above 150, agility surged beyond 140, and every movement became more economical. Battle Harden reduced skill cooldowns and stamina consumption by half while weakening negative status effects by 80%. Legendary Fame created an aura increasing nearby allies' attack power by 25% and attack speed by 40%. Lin Yuan activated Spirit Ring and copied that same aura for personal use. Two independent effects appeared on the status panel, confirming that the bonuses stacked instead of replacing each other, as Battlefield Legend transformed Instinct into perfected veteran efficiency. Panda, Shadow Squirrel, and Lin Yuan now carried 50% more attack power near one another. Attack speed increased by 80%, turning every coordinated engagement into a burst enemies could barely perceive. The level 1 pet once dismissed as unaffordable trash had become the center of a legendary battlefield formation. Lin Yuan expanded the scouting net from 2 clones to 12, sending them across ruins, hills, and polluted woodland. Each shadow reported monster positions, traces of human movement, treasure scents, and changes in demonic energy. Panda advanced through marked routes, eliminating isolated corpse demons before they joined larger packs, while stacked auras strengthened every ally without consuming extra actions. The summon no longer wasted motion, because Battlefield Legend chose ideal angles and conserved strength automatically. Cooldowns returned so quickly that area skills could clear one group before the next completed pursuit. Experience climbed steadily while demon remains entered storage for repeatable military bounty payments. Lin Yuan also recorded landmarks, ruined supply routes, and contaminated structures for the mapping assignment. Every action served several rewards at once, maximizing levels, loot, merit, and intelligence during the same movement. Back at camp, Commander Su Feng watched scout signals drift slowly across a virtual terrain table. Most teams advanced only several hundred meters before fighting, resting, treating injuries, or changing routes, as command monitors noticed one signal outrunning entire professional teams. Several groups retreated after meeting common demons whose undying body overwhelmed inexperienced damage patterns. One isolated signal moved completely differently, traveling nearly 5 kilometers inside a single hour. The light crossed hostile zones faster than veteran teams despite having no nearby support markers. Su Feng initially assumed a tracking failure and ordered technicians to verify the identification tag. The result displayed Lin Yuan, level 5 summoner, high school student, and temporary special investigator. The commander remembered dismissing the lowest level recruit as a connected rich kid, and now watched that same signal outrun professional teams. A clerk confirmed the signal had entered at level 4 and advanced after only a few encounters. Su Feng considered whether wealthy sponsorship had provided a powerful inherited beast unavailable to ordinary students. Even that explanation failed, because expensive pets without real command experience usually moved cautiously and wasted stamina. This scout displayed veteran efficiency, clearing enemies, mapping terrain, and maintaining a straight operational pace. The commander ordered constant monitoring and immediate warning if the signal encountered an elite demon. Common soldiers were manageable, but one elite possessed intelligence and abilities capable of deleting an inexperienced team, as the blood skeleton introduced poison, intelligence, and explosive frenzy. Inside the blighted land, Lin Yuan felt only boredom because common enemies had become scarce along his route. His level 5 experience bar passed 80% while Panda showed no meaningful fatigue after continuous combat. One shadow clone suddenly transmitted an image from ruins several hundred meters to the left. A 2-meter skeleton stood there, built from blood-red bones, and carrying blue fire inside both eye sockets. The target was a level 15 blood skeleton demon, classified as an elite sergeant among abyss creatures. Strength exceeded 100. Agility approached the same range, and its skill set made any successful wound trigger explosive offensive pressure. Blood Frenzy doubled attack power and speed after the demon successfully wounded any living target. Blood Poison, Bone Spikes, and Bone Shield made the creature far more dangerous than every corpse demon combined. Lin Yuan moved closer, excited by the experience value, then noticed a human team already trapped nearby. 4 level 11 scouts struggled between the elite skeleton and 3 common demons attacking from separate directions. Han, their great sword captain, held the center while an assassin searched unsuccessfully for an opening. Archer Lin Fei and a young priest remained behind the front line, already running out of space, options, and emotional control. The skeleton tore one rib from its chest and threw the sharpened bone like a javelin. Han shouted a warning, but the projectile still grazed Lin Fei's thigh and drew immediate blood. Red fire replaced the blue flames inside the demon's skull as blood frenzy activated. Its movement doubled, bone shield hardened, and every member of the trapped team understood death was seconds away. The captain ordered someone to fire the distress flare, though military rescue might arrive far too late. Lin Yuan did not know these scouts, but refusing to act would waste lives and elite experience together, while Panda erased common enemies before addressing the greater threat. He assigned Shadow Squirrel to restrain the skeleton while Panda erased the 3 common demons first. Black restraints rose from the blood skeleton's own shadow and jerked its killing strike backward. Han stared when the expected bone spike stopped several inches from his exposed chest. Panda entered from the flank and released a wide internal force burst through all 3 corpse demons. Their bodies disintegrated completely, removing the immediate pressure on the archer and priest. The rescued team searched for the unseen expert responsible before Lin Yuan stepped from behind the ruins. Recognition brought more confusion because everyone remembered the level 4 high schooler, yet registered level had already stopped predicting his actual combat power. Han warned him that Blood Frenzy had doubled the elite's power and made close combat suicidal. Lin Yuan remained still while Panda accelerated beneath both legendary fame auras. One palm struck the skeleton's skull before its enhanced senses registered the change in distance. Red bone shattered into fragments, and the elite collapsed without releasing another skill. A level 15 demon that nearly killed 4 experienced scouts had died from one level 5 summon attack. The clearing became silent except for fragments rolling across broken stone and Lin Fei's unsteady breathing. While military scouts learned registered level did not equal combat power, 375 experience pushed Lin Yuan directly into level 6. Another golden draw became available, but he first collected crystals, rare gear, corpse materials, and bounty proof. Han bowed deeply, addressing the younger summoner as an expert because strength erased differences in age and registered level. The team belonged to East China Hunters Guild, one of the largest organizations operating near the abyss. Lin Fei introduced herself and offered future assistance, still watching Panda with undisguised disbelief. Lin Yuan asked whether they had seen more elites, because experience hunger had already replaced the fear most teams felt toward those monsters. Han admitted this was their first and explained another encounter would probably have ended the entire team. The scouts withdrew toward camp while Lin Yuan remained alone beside the shattered skeleton. Panda received bamboo, Shadow Squirrel received pine nuts, and both summons recovered while their master opened the reward. The level 6 golden draw produced Eye of Insight, a legendary perception law different from every previous suffix. It could expose illusions, analyze unknown structures, reveal skills, and interpret traces before enemies acted. Unlike combat suffixes assigned to summons, this one belonged directly on Lin Yuan. While Eye of Insight changed terrain itself into readable information, cold golden pressure entered both eyes, changing the blighted land from scenery into layered information. He focused on one crater and immediately received data describing impact direction, residual internal force, and recent timing. Scuffed ground revealed that a Blood Sea demon had fought human professionals nearby and died before his arrival. Broken grass identified movement speed, weight distribution, and the number of creatures passing through one route. Standard appraisal worked only on recognized targets, but Eye of Insight treated the entire environment as readable evidence. Lin Yuan could now detect traps, disguises, hidden abilities, and unknown treasures without waiting for activation, as golden threads exposed traces hidden from ordinary appraisal. That information transformed him from a powerful summoner into the controller of every future battlefield. A faint notification appeared several steps behind him, marking a silence bell scouting technique used moments earlier. Someone had bypassed 12 shadow scouts and approached close enough to watch the elite execution. Lin Yuan dismissed the golden glow and turned as a familiar playful voice called him little brother again. The woman in black stood beside a ruined wall, smiling as though entering unnoticed required no explanation. She praised the blood skeleton kill and proposed cooperation on a target far larger than one wandering elite. This time, Lin Yuan had the ability to uncover everything her expensive concealment gear tried hiding, while one concealed observer discovered the summoner could sense her approach. Eye of Insight identified her as Ruan Xiaoyao, a level 19 dark spirit assassin from East China 5-star University. Her epic short blade, shielding ring, and hidden attributes explained why ordinary appraisal returned nothing earlier. The profile also revealed she was Wan Feiping's daughter and had ranked 79th nationally during the previous examination. Lin Yuan immediately understood why the city lord's confidence and reckless humor felt strangely familiar around her. Ruan Xiaoyao asked whether he was staring because her concealment had confused his appraisal. He concealed the legendary eye, answering that he was only evaluating whether her proposed cooperation made practical sense, as Ruan Xiaoyao's profile explained confidence ordinary students could not imitate. She described a demon stronghold, occupying an abandoned temple deeper inside Blighted Land number 19. At least 10 elite demons guarded the site, supported by common soldiers and layered defensive positions. Her assassin class could remove leaders quietly, but sustained crowd combat remained a serious weakness. Lin Yuan possessed the opposite formation, with Panda built for direct pressure and Shadow Squirrel controlling movement. Their accidental meeting therefore created an alliance whose strengths covered nearly every visible weakness. Before they finalized the route, desperate cries emerged from the mist and interrupted every remaining calculation about the temple stronghold. The cries sounded human, but distance and polluted fog distorted direction, urgency, and the number of people involved, while both partners tested trust without exposing every hidden ability. Ruan Xiaoyao shifted immediately toward rescue, revealing that her teasing manner did not erase basic responsibility. Lin Yuan stopped her long enough to confirm they would not abandon the stronghold plan after handling the interruption. She agreed, though her attention remained fixed on the voices moving closer through the ruined landscape. Before advancing, the two exchanged the minimum information required to avoid interfering with each other's combat methods. Ruan Xiaoyao specialized in concealment, explosive traps, assassination, and eliminating isolated targets before formations reacted. Her agility exceeded 300, making her faster than any enemy Lin Yuan had personally faced so far. However, speed could not solve a temple packed with elites whose overlapping senses protected every approach. A single failed assassination would expose her inside a crowd built to punish lightly armored professionals. Lin Yuan explained only the visible parts of his formation, defining clear roles without exposing infinite Golden Suffix or Eye of Insight. Panda controlled frontal pressure, redirected physical damage, and carried enough durability to hold multiple attackers. Shadow Squirrel handled scouting, restraint, clones, treasure detection, and executions from angles ordinary vision ignored. Ruan Xiaoyao studied both creatures with increasing interest, especially the tiny assassin moving between shadows. As an assassin herself, she recognized that the squirrel's stealth skill exceeded many human professional techniques. She assumed Lin Yuan had spent a hidden family fortune obtaining two exceptional summoned beasts. The truth was more dangerous, because both pets had begun as affordable skills before legendary suffixes rewrote their nature. Lin Yuan did not correct her misunderstanding, since wealth attracted envy, while limitless evolution attracted organized predation. Ruan Xiaoyao asked whether he had entered the Blighted Land mainly for examination levels or military merit. He answered that examination levels, military merit, and genuine battlefield experience all mattered because the frontier offered growth-controlled dungeons could not provide. The frontier rewarded dangerous kills several times more generously, and every demon body could be exchanged for resources. For an orphan funding an expensive class, wasting that opportunity would be more reckless than entering prepared. Ruan Xiaoyao understood the logic despite recognizing how abnormal his preparation looked at level 6. Most summoners required teams to protect their bodies while slow pets established a defensive line. Lin Yuan moved like a commander surrounded by invisible units, never exposing the vulnerable center of his formation. His complete spirit aura set also granted movement and shielding no beginner summoner should possess. She noticed the cloak's contract seal, but apparently did not recognize the unique set or its full effect. That ignorance protected another secret while allowing her to believe the city lord or academy had sponsored him. Lin Yuan used Eye of Insight briefly to evaluate the road without letting golden light remain visible, as the stronghold plan forced them to compare limits honestly. Recent footprints showed two light human-shaped figures moving toward them from the direction of the distant cries. No heavier pursuers appeared immediately behind, which contradicted the panic and speed implied by those voices. He stored the inconsistency rather than announcing suspicion before obtaining a clear view. Ruan Xiaoyao continued describing the stronghold while they crossed broken grass and collapsed stone. The abandoned temple had become a concentration point for abyssal energy shortly after the region opened. Demons gathered around valuable sources instinctively, meaning the occupation suggested treasure, crystals, or another rare material inside. Military bounties rewarded clearing dangerous nests, and 10 elites would produce enormous experience even without hidden loot. Ruan Xiaoyao had approached the perimeter earlier but withdrew after counting defenders and recognizing her class disadvantage. She wanted one additional fighter capable of defeating an elite alone, because her preset team size reflected caution rather than doubt about Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan stated that a third member would reduce his experience share and complicate coordination more than necessary. The assassin laughed because confidence from a level 6 student sounded almost theatrical against level 15 and level 20 demons. He reminded her that she had personally watched Panda erase the blood skeleton with one palm. One elite therefore provided no meaningful measurement for the grandmaster's current upper limit. Ruan Xiaoyao countered that simultaneous enemies multiplied danger rather than adding it in simple numbers. 6 elites could chain control effects, attack from different angles, and overwhelm cooldowns through constant pressure. Lin Yuan agreed with the principle but explained that Panda's cooldowns and stamina costs were already reduced by half. 2 stacked legendary auras also raised attack and attack speed across every nearby summon. He described both auras only as compatible contract effects, preserving secrets that were unnecessary for immediate coordination. Even that partial explanation made Ruan Xiaoyao recalculate the panda's impossible movement during the earlier execution. Shadow clones could lure wide-area abilities, bind targets, and create false threat directions before direct engagement. Panda could then use enemy momentum against the strongest physical attacker while the true squirrel removed vulnerable specialists. Lin Yuan would remain behind Spirit Shield, reading skill patterns and issuing adjustments through the contract. The formation was not simply powerful, because each component existed to cover another component's limitation. Ruan Xiaoyao recognized genuine tactical structure despite Lin Yuan rejecting the university that wanted to train him as a commander. She had heard the national news before entering the Blighted Land, though she never expected to meet the record holder here. That revelation explained why her first greeting carried curiosity rather than ordinary friendliness toward a random high schooler. She had watched the Hell Clear announcement and now compared that public rumor against the repeatable strength standing beside her. The dead blood skeleton proved the record came from repeatable strength, not one hidden consumable or environmental exploit. Lin Yuan asked why someone ranked among the national top 100 trained in the weakest new contaminated zone. Ruan Xiaoyao avoided a detailed answer, saying she needed merit, experience, and something located inside the stronghold. Eye of Insight confirmed no direct lie, though concealment around her purpose prevented a complete reading. He accepted the boundary because he was hiding far more significant information himself. Their partnership required clear combat intentions, not personal histories neither side had earned the right to demand. The cries sounded again, now close enough to identify 2 young female voices pleading for immediate help. Ruan Xiaoyao accelerated, but Lin Yuan requested several seconds to send shadows around both sides of the path. She teased him for caution after he claimed a 99% chance against 6 elites, as shadow clones formed a perimeter no disguised survivor could notice. He answered that confidence in battle never justified ignoring information available before battle. That response reminded her more of an old military officer than a teenager preparing for college examinations. Shadow clones spread silently along ruined walls, while Panda moved slightly ahead of Lin Yuan's body. Spirit Shield remained invisible, but its calculated durability sat ready to absorb a surprise strike. Eye of Insight traced displaced dust, compressed grass, and the irregular rhythm of approaching footsteps. The figures stumbled loudly enough to appear exhausted, yet each stride maintained suspiciously consistent balance. Their breathing sounded broken, but neither trail showed the uneven weight expected from serious leg injuries. Ruan Xiaoyao had not activated a comparable perception skill and responded mainly to visible suffering. Lin Yuan understood why the approaching deception worked against compassionate rookies and experienced professionals under pressure, while stable footsteps exposed injuries existing only inside the performance. Abyss demons did not need stronger statistics when they could transform human kindness into an opening. The voices claimed guards and numerous demons were chasing them from deeper inside the region. No pursuit noise, corrupted scent, or fresh battle trace supported that story anywhere within the visible route. Lin Yuan kept walking instead of confronting them from a distance, because he wanted both targets inside controlled range. Ruan Xiaoyao watched him carefully, sensing caution beneath the calm expression without understanding its source. He positioned Panda behind a broken wall where the large creature remained hidden from direct sight. The true squirrel merged into the longest shadow crossing the path, while 2 clones occupied opposite angles. Lin Yuan alone remained visible, creating the exact vulnerable rescuer the approaching creatures expected to exploit. Ruan Xiaoyao moved several steps behind him, daggers ready beneath her sleeves despite intending to help, as false victims borrowed fear from people they had already murdered. The first figure emerged through gray mist wearing torn clothing stained with convincing human blood. A second woman followed, limping, crying, and reaching toward them with trembling fingers. Their faces showed terror detailed enough to fool anyone relying only on sight and emotional instinct. Ruan Xiaoyao's expression softened, and her weight shifted forward before Lin Yuan touched her shoulder. The contact stopped her at the same moment golden threads appeared briefly inside his pupils. He saw two complete status panels beneath the stolen appearances, both marked as skin peeler demons. Each creature stood at level 20 in elite classification, far above the common bodies they imitated. Their strength remained moderate, but spirit, intelligence, disguise, and ambush abilities made them specialist killers. Skin peelers murdered humans, removed intact outer layers, and wore those identities to approach future victims, while Ruan Xiaoyao's instincts struggled against deliberately displayed suffering. Military records ranked them among the most hated abyss creatures because survivors often died while trying to provide aid. Their current faces therefore belonged to real young women already killed somewhere inside the blighted land. Lin Yuan released Ruan Xiaoyao and told her quietly to remain behind until he gave a signal. She noticed the change in his eyes and reconsidered the apparent victims. Without arguing, one detail finally reached her on its own, because heavily wounded civilians should not have outrun elite pursuers. The two disguised demons collapsed closer, begging for protection and describing injuries beneath torn clothing. Lin Yuan answered in a gentle voice, promising that they had finally reached someone capable of helping. The performance encouraged both monsters to reduce distance while keeping their concealed weapons and altered limbs hidden, as golden analysis revealed elite demons beneath stolen human appearances. Ruan Xiaoyao tightened her grip on the daggers, uncertain whether Lin Yuan planned rescue, interrogation, or execution. Panda remained motionless behind cover, and no shadow revealed where the squirrel waited. Lin Yuan asked the first woman to show the worst injuries so he could decide which medicine she needed. She lifted part of the torn shirt, exposing an apparently bruised waist while inviting him closer. The second figure shifted behind him, preparing to attack the moment attention moved toward the displayed wound. Eye of Insight marked both intended strike paths before either creature completed the final step. Lin Yuan still did not attack, because he wanted their confidence high enough to prevent immediate retreat. The first skin peeler thanked him repeatedly, layering relief, pain, and helplessness with practiced precision. Its imitation was nearly flawless, proving the creature had studied human reactions from previous victims, while skin peelers converted rescue instinct into their preferred ambush. Only movement beneath the borrowed skin remained slightly wrong, as muscles pulled against a body not originally theirs. Lin Yuan memorized those signs for future encounters where Eye of Insight might be unavailable or concealed. Ruan Xiaoyao also began noticing inconsistencies after focusing on mechanics instead of emotional presentation. The supposed injured woman kept one shoulder too stable for the amount of pain described. Neither figure glanced behind them despite claiming a pack of demons remained seconds away. Their eyes repeatedly measured Lin Yuan's throat, hands, and distance rather than searching for safety. The assassin's pity hardened into anger as she understood what those stolen faces represented. Still, she allowed Lin Yuan to control the encounter because his shadows had already secured every escape angle. He stepped one pace closer, placing himself exactly where both demons believed their ambush would succeed, as Lin Yuan let the predators believe their deception remained complete. The first monster's fingers lengthened beneath the borrowed sleeve while the second prepared to strike from behind. Lin Yuan pointed toward the exposed waist, appearing to accept the false injury at last. Then his finger moved upward and stopped at the first creature's neck. He explained calmly that the real wound was not where the demon had indicated. The disguised face froze, realizing the prey had seen through an illusion designed to defeat professional scouts. Darkness detached from beneath its own feet before either skin peeler could abandon the stolen form. Shadow Squirrel waited inside the first creature's darkness while both execution angles remained completely sealed. For one suspended second, rescue theater and assassination preparation existed together beneath the same gray sky. The first skin peeler kept smiling through the stolen face, unaware a legendary assassin already occupied its shadow, while every ally reached position with outspoken coordination. The second monster adjusted its stance behind Lin Yuan, preparing to strike after the apparent healer lowered his guard. Ruan Xiaoyao watched every movement, now recognizing how completely compassion had nearly pulled her into the trap. She had entered contaminated zones before, but ordinary appraisal rarely pierced a skin peeler's perfected outer disguise. Without Lin Yuan's warning, her first step forward would have placed both demons within ideal killing distance. That realization replaced embarrassment with respect, because perception had saved her before raw strength became relevant. Lin Yuan kept his voice gentle and asked whether either survivor could still walk without support. Both demons answered immediately, matching each other's panic too perfectly for genuinely exhausted strangers. The first requested medicine, while the second begged them to leave before invisible pursuers arrived. Neither figure mentioned names, teammates, or recognizable locations, and every missing detail made the rescue story less believable. Ruan Xiaoyao began circling casually, pretending to search the mist while closing the rear escape route. Her assassin instincts adapted quickly once the deception became visible, proving her national ranking was earned. Panda remained hidden, because exposing a massive summon would force the skin peelers to abandon subtlety too early. The grandmaster's legendary fame aura still covered every contracted ally within range, strengthening the unseen shadows. Lin Yuan's copied aura added a second layer, raising attack speed before either target transformed. The spirit aura set turned the entire formation into one connected weapon while protecting its human center. Eye of Insight continuously displayed muscle tension, hidden claws, spiritual fluctuations, and the exact moment each demon prepared movement. The first creature's borrowed skin stretched faintly along its wrist as internal bone began changing shape. The second monster shifted 1 foot outward, giving itself room to leap across Lin Yuan's exposed back, while hidden claws unfolded beneath fabric stained with borrowed blood. Neither action looked dramatic, yet both confirmed the attack would begin within the next breath. Lin Yuan considered capturing one for intelligence, but rejected the idea after reviewing their unstable, corrupted bodies. Skin peelers specialized in manipulation, and transporting a living specimen would endanger every scout encountered afterward. Military bounty rules also accepted complete remains, meaning immediate elimination sacrificed no essential reward. Ruan Xiaoyao noticed his hand signal and silently lowered her center of gravity behind the false victims. One dagger remained ready for defense, while the other aligned with the second demon's likely retreat path. She still did not know where Shadow Squirrel waited, only that Lin Yuan's confidence suggested the creature was close. That uncertainty impressed her because an assassin capable of hiding from another assassin represented exceptional quality. The first skin peeler leaned closer and repeated that pain was spreading through the exposed waist, as the first demon committed enough weight to make retreat impossible. Lin Yuan answered that the injury looked survivable, encouraging the creature to maintain its performance. The monster's eyes briefly showed satisfaction before human fear returned across the stolen expression. That tiny emotional delay would have escaped ordinary observation, but Eye of Insight highlighted it like a warning flare. Lin Yuan stepped within arm's reach, making the apparent mistake both predators had been waiting to exploit. Ruan Xiaoyao almost moved despite knowing the truth, because the distance looked suicidal even with preparation. Spirit Shield remained invisible around Lin Yuan, capable of absorbing the opening strike if timing failed. He trusted the barrier, but more importantly, he trusted Shadow Squirrel's speed under stacked legendary auras. The first creature asked him to examine the wound directly and turned its body to expose more skin. Its hidden claws unfolded behind the lifted fabric, positioned to tear through his throat during the approach, while the second creature prepared a matching strike from behind. The second monster's fingers became narrow bone blades beneath sleeves stained with borrowed blood. Both attacks relied on simultaneous surprise, ensuring a rescuer could not defend front and back together. Lin Yuan had already assigned separate shadows to each target, turning that coordination against them. 2 clones waited inside the second demon's darkness, each carrying 80% of the original squirrel's attributes. Their combined strike exceeded the constitution displayed on the monster's status panel by a wide margin. The true squirrel prepared a single precise cut on the first target rather than wasting force across the body. Panda's role was containment, ready to destroy any fragment that survived decapitation or attempted transformation. Ruan Xiaoyao would intercept movement toward the surrounding ruins and prevent either demon from escaping with stolen information. The formation required no shouted commands because contracts, gestures, and careful observation synchronized every participant without revealing intent to the demons. Lin Yuan recognized how quickly Ruan Xiaoyao adapted, making her more useful than another source of raw damage. She recognized that the level 6 student directed battle tempo with the calm of a much older commander. The distant stronghold still mattered, but this smaller encounter had already tested whether their partnership could function. Failure would expose weak communication before 10 elites surrounded them inside a fortified temple. Success would prove they could combine perception, assassination, control, and overwhelming frontal force without interference. The two disguised demons mistook their silence for uncertainty and became increasingly confident. One false survivor reached toward Lin Yuan's sleeve as though needing support to remain standing. The other took half a step behind him, closing the final gap while avoiding Ruan Xiaoyao's visible daggers. Lin Yuan lowered his hand and allowed the first creature to believe the rescue had become physical contact, while stolen expressions collapsed into genuine predatory intent. Its fingertips brushed the edge of Spirit's shield, creating a tiny ripple only he could feel. Eye of Insight marked the concealed claw's activation and predicted the path across his neck. At the same moment, the second demon released tension from both legs and committed to its backward strike. Lin Yuan's expression did not change, because every variable had entered the exact arrangement he wanted. He moved his pointing finger from the false wound toward the first creature's throat. The calm gesture confused both predators for a fraction of a second, delaying their attacks beyond recovery. Ruan Xiaoyao saw darkness thicken beneath their feet and finally understood where the squirrel had been hiding. The skin peelers dropped their helpless expressions as stolen faces twisted into open killing intent. Lin Yuan gave one short command, and every shadow, dagger, restraint, and prepared escape block moved at exactly the same moment. The true shadow squirrel erupted from the first demon's own darkness, moving so quickly that stacked legendary auras erased the expected reaction window. Stacked attack speed made the movement look instantaneous, a black flash crossing borrowed skin before the creature completed one claw strike. A thin red line appeared beneath the false survivor's chin, while the stolen expression remained frozen in manufactured fear. For one heartbeat, the skin peeler seemed confused that its perfect disguise had produced no hesitation from the intended victim. Then the borrowed head slid from its shoulders and struck the polluted ground with a soft, almost ordinary sound. The system confirmed a level 20 elite kill and awarded 500 experience points before the body finished collapsing. Ruan Xiaoyao remained motionless with both daggers raised, because the execution looked like the murder of a wounded human until transformation began. Pale rubbery flesh pushed through the severed neck, tearing apart the convincing outer appearance and exposing the abyss creature underneath. Its true body resembled a twisted mannequin of pale tissue and hidden blades, exposing the crime concealed beneath borrowed human skin. The sight replaced any remaining doubt with fury, because the human face on the ground had belonged to a real murdered survivor. The second skin peeler reacted faster than emotion, abandoning its rear strike and launching sideways toward the nearest ruined wall. Both shadow clones rose from its darkness simultaneously, catching the retreat before the creature gained even one full step. One blade crossed behind the knees while the other cut through the shoulder, controlling its concealed bone weapons. The monster twisted its stolen face toward Lin Yuan, displaying confusion more honestly than any emotion it had performed earlier. It had planned to exploit compassion, yet the supposed victim now controlled shadows, a grandmaster beast, and an assassin ally. The skin peeler tried releasing a spiritual shriek meant to disrupt concentration and create a final escape opening. Panda emerged from behind the broken wall and absorbed the sound beneath Battle Harden's massive resistance to negative effects. Panda moved into the escape path, forcing the demon backward while both shadow clones tightened pressure from opposite sides. Ruan Xiaoyao finally joined, throwing one dagger past the monster's cheek to eliminate the only clear route into deeper fog. Her second blade remained ready, but she recognized Lin Yuan had already arranged a cleaner execution than direct pursuit. The skin peeler extended both arms, splitting fingers into hooked weapons while the borrowed skin ripped from internal pressure. Shadow bind erupted from beneath it, wrapping ankles, wrists, and torso with chains created from the creature's own silhouette. At full strength, a level 20 elite might have torn through ordinary restraints, but two legendary auras strengthened every contract effect. The demon strained until the stolen face split along one cheek, revealing smooth white tissue and a jaw shaped for removing skin. Lin Yuan pointed toward the same neckline he had marked on the first target, giving the clones one precise finishing location. Both shadows crossed together, snapping corrupted bone and completing the second execution before the demon recovered balance. 500 more experience entered Lin Yuan's bar, bringing the 2 elite kills to a full 1,000 within seconds. The second corpse collapsed beside the first, and both human disguises peeled away as abyssal energy lost structural control. Ruan Xiaoyao lowered her daggers slowly, staring between the bodies, the squirrel, and the level 6 summoner directing everything. She had expected him to prove strength against 6 elites later, not erase 2 level 20 infiltrators before they touched anyone. What impressed her most was not damage, because powerful professionals could kill skin peelers after discovering their identities. Lin Yuan had identified the deception instantly, positioned every unit silently, and allowed the monsters to expose their attack commitment first. That sequence resembled a veteran counterintelligence operation more than a teenager's improvised response during an accidental roadside encounter. Panda approached the remains and struck each torso once, ensuring no separated fragment retained enough corrupted life to continue moving. The impacts were controlled rather than explosive, preserving bodies for military identification while destroying every dangerous internal core, without sacrificing the proof required by military investigators. Shadow squirrels searched both corpses and recovered concealed blades, corrupted glands, and small items stolen from earlier victims. Lin Yuan stored the evidence carefully because the army could use possessions to identify who the demons had killed. Ruan Xiaoyao looked toward the discarded faces and briefly lost the playful expression she had worn since their first meeting. She understood those women could not be rescued, but preserving proof might at least return names and belongings to waiting families. Lin Yuan gave her several quiet seconds before asking whether she carried fire suitable for complete abyssal disposal. Skin peeler tissue remained infectious after death, and leaving bodies exposed could attract scavengers or contaminate future rescue teams. Ruan Xiaoyao produced an incendiary tool from her equipment and created a controlled blue flame across both remains. The controlled blue flame consumed corrupted flesh without spreading through dry grass, separating military evidence from infectious tissue. As the bodies collapsed into ash, the stolen appearances disappeared last, a brutal reminder of how the demons hunted human kindness. Ruan Xiaoyao finally asked how Lin Yuan had detected them before any visible transformation or attack. He refused to expose Eye of Insight, offering instead the real behavioral inconsistencies supporting his final certainty. Demons escaping danger would not perfectly coordinate breathing, maintain balanced strides, or ignore the direction of supposed pursuers. Severe injuries should alter weight distribution, yet both figures had moved with stable hips and equal pressure across every step. Their eyes measured throats, hands, weapons, and distance instead of searching faces for protection or scanning behind for danger. Most importantly, abyss creatures rarely fled with genuine human panic because predatory instinct shaped movement even beneath stolen skin. The explanation was incomplete, but every stated clue remained true and useful for Ruan Xiaoyao's future survival. She replayed the approach and recognized every missed detail, allowing professional humility to turn one dangerous mistake into a lasting lesson. The lesson stung because high-level statistics and expensive concealment equipment had not protected her from a basic rescue trap. Instead of becoming defensive, she thanked Lin Yuan and admitted his judgment had prevented a potentially fatal opening strike. That response increased his trust because capable allies learned from mistakes rather than protecting pride with excuses. The partnership had survived its first test without conflicting commands, accidental interference, or hesitation once the truth became clear. Ruan Xiaoyao blocked escape routes, the shadows executed targets, Panda contained danger, and Lin Yuan controlled information. Each role had supported the others exactly as their earlier stronghold discussion predicted under more dangerous conditions than expected. The 2 elite corpses also proved Lin Yuan's claim that multiple enemies did not automatically overwhelm his formation. Neither skin peeler landed one attack, activated one successful illusion, or created one uncontrolled variable after entering range, while 2 clones delivered one synchronized execution across the marked seam. Ruan Xiaoyao no longer laughed when he repeated that Panda could handle the temple's frontline elites. She still considered 10 opponents dangerous, but the possibility had moved from absurd boasting into a serious tactical calculation. Lin Yuan checked experience, confirmed the next level remained within reach, and collected the final ash samples for military records. The bounty value mattered, yet the greater reward was proving Eye of Insight could defeat intelligent abyss deception under pressure. Raw power had cleared hell difficulty, while perception had now prevented strength from being aimed at the wrong target. That balance made his growing class far more dangerous than a simple collection of overpowered summoned creatures. Ruan Xiaoyao asked whether every battle around him ended before opponents understood they had already lost. Lin Yuan answered that prepared enemies deserved preparation while careless enemies supplied their own defeat, and the completed ambush proved his point. The line sounded arrogant, but two burning elite remains made arguing with it difficult. Shadow Squirrel returned to his shoulder, cleaned its tiny blade, and resumed the harmless posture that concealed lethal ability. Panda accepted another bamboo stalk, looking like an oversized pet rather than the epic grandmaster who had contained the entire encounter. Ruan Xiaoyao laughed at the contrast, finally understanding why witnesses underestimated Lin Yuan until combat began. She suggested finishing the stronghold mission before more skin peelers used the same route against less prepared scouts. Lin Yuan agreed, but first transmitted a coded warning through the temporary military badge about disguised demons operating nearby. The message included location, behavioral clues, corpse confirmation, and instructions for scouts to verify wounded survivors carefully. Commander Su Feng received the report at camp and immediately broadcast an alert across Blighted Land number 19. That warning could save teams Lin Yuan would never meet, allowing one local victory to protect people far beyond the clearing. The commander also saw two level 20 elite kills appear beside the same signal already moving impossibly fast. His concern about the high schooler's inexperience shifted toward disbelief about how much experience the teenager appeared to possess. Lin Yuan closed the report panel, looked toward the temple route, and reorganized his summons without any celebratory pause. The skin peelers had failed completely, and their defeat confirmed that information, preparation, and golden evolution now worked as one system. The final flames consumed the last recognizable fragment, leaving only dark ash, recovered evidence, and two professionals who now understood exactly why ordinary compassion required battlefield discipline. Lin Yuan marked the location on his temporary map so military recovery teams could collect residue, compare stolen belongings, and search nearby routes for the murdered victim's original companions. Ruan Xiaoyao watched him complete every procedure instead of immediately chasing experience, recognizing that his ambition did not erase responsibility toward people already lost inside the corruption. That detail mattered because reckless geniuses often treated blighted lands like personal training grounds until their mistakes created casualties for soldiers forced to rescue them. Lin Yuan hunted aggressively, yet each decision still considered escape routes, contamination, witness safety, bounty evidence, and the long-term value of information. Commander Su Feng's warning spread through every active badge, ordering scouts to challenge suspicious behavior before approaching wounded strangers hidden beyond verified routes. Several teams immediately changed formation, placing ranged observers behind rescuers and assigning one member to watch shadows during future encounters. The skin peelers intended to steal two more bodies, but their failed ambush instead strengthened rescue protocols and restored identities through recovered evidence across every active scout route in the region. Ruan Xiaoyao admitted that she had initially mistaken Lin Yuan's caution for the overconfidence of a newly famous student protecting his image. Now she saw a summoner whose real advantage extended beyond beasts, equipment, and unexpectedly high statistics. He understood systems, enemy psychology, terrain, cooldowns, economics, and human reactions well enough to turn each separate advantage into one connected strategy. That combination explained the hell difficulty record better than any rumor about secret inherited treasures or a powerful family operating behind him. Lin Yuan answered that strong summons only created opportunities, while poor judgment could still waste every advantage within one careless second. The memory of both false victims approaching with perfect tears made Ruan Xiaoyao accept the lesson without another joke. She collected one unburned identification token from the ash and promised to deliver it personally when they returned to camp. The token carried a woman's name, confirming that at least one stolen appearance belonged to a registered temporary scout. Neither of them spoke for several moments, because the victim's cost remained heavier than the experience reward or military bounty. Lin Yuan had gained 1,000 experience, but another family might soon receive proof that someone they loved would never return. That contrast reminded him why his parents' deaths had shaped Lu Boyan's fear when he requested frontier authorization. Power could protect people only when the person holding it refused to become numb toward the lives surrounding each battle. Panda stood nearby with bamboo lowered, unusually quiet while the blue flame finished reducing corrupted tissue into harmless residue. Shadow Squirrel remained alert on Lin Yuan's shoulder, monitoring the fog for another disguised presence or approaching pack. The summons reflected their master's priorities without understanding every human emotion, creating a silent perimeter around the small memorial. When the fire finally died, Lin Yuan placed the recovered belongings inside a separate storage section rather than mixing them with loot. Ruan Xiaoyao noticed the gesture and stopped calling him little brother, replacing playful curiosity with earned professional respect. After witnessing judgment stronger than raw combat statistics, she addressed him by name, signaling that playful curiosity had become genuine professional respect after one shared engagement. Their alliance had begun as a practical answer to a crowded stronghold, but the skin peeler encounter established something more valuable than damage. Each had seen how the other behaved when innocent lives appeared threatened, hidden danger emerged, and uncertainty demanded immediate trust. Ruan Xiaoyao moved toward rescue without selfish calculation, while Lin Yuan protected her from a deception she could not yet perceive. Once warned, she followed commands without undermining the formation, then helped preserve evidence and spread the military alert. Those choices mattered more than rankings because future temple combat would leave no time for partners to debate motives during an attack. Lin Yuan adjusted the planned formation accordingly, assigning her to remove isolated casters while shadows disrupted communication between defenders. Panda would hold the central lane, using redirected force against whichever elite attempted to break the formation through physical pressure. Shadow clones would scout side passages, trigger wide attacks safely, and prevent reinforcements from surrounding Lin Yuan during the stronghold assault before temple defenders could coordinate their overlapping attacks. Ruan Xiaoyao accepted the structure after reviewing the recent fight, no longer insisting that a third professional was absolutely necessary. She still reserved the right to retreat if the stronghold contained a general-rank demon or unknown corruption source. Lin Yuan agreed immediately, proving his confidence was not the same as refusing to recognize information that changed expected risk. Eye of Insight would inspect the temple perimeter before any entry, while Treasure Sniffer identified whether the hidden reward justified deeper exposure. The plan remained entirely based on abilities they had already demonstrated, with no dependence on luck, rescue, or undisclosed backup. Before leaving, Lin Yuan checked both summons for damage, stamina, mana, and lingering contamination from contact with elite demon tissue. Panda remained nearly untouched, protected by legendary technique, battle-hardened, the spirit aura set, and attributes far beyond its displayed level. Shadow Squirrel had spent little mana, proving precise assassinations could preserve resources for the larger stronghold operation ahead, where 10 elites still waited behind layered defenses. The Level 1 creatures mocked at the Academy had become a frontline grandmaster and an invisible execution network within several days. Every level had delivered another golden law, and every law multiplied the usefulness of everything earned before it. Tai Chi made Panda difficult to injure, while You Are What You Eat converted ordinary loot into permanent growth. Shadow Master transformed a weak scout into an epic assassin, then Treasure Sniffer turned that assassin into a resource engine. Battlefield Legend reduced exhaustion and strengthened the entire formation, while Eye of Insight ensured power targeted the correct enemy. The suffixes did not function as isolated bonuses, because Lin Yuan deliberately assigned each one where it solved a specific strategic limitation. That design philosophy was the true reason a poor summoner could outperform heirs spending millions without understanding their own beasts. Xiaoxian purchased quality directly and expected money to replace command, discipline, and battlefield understanding, an assumption every later result disproved. Lin Yuan turned one teacher's rare skill book into an epic creature capable of clearing the impossible and surviving the abyss. The 8 million offer now looked smaller every hour, not because money lacked value, but because permanent growth created value repeatedly. His national record produced crystals, equipment, academy rewards, guild attention, and access to the city lord's private vault. Those resources then completed Spirit Aura, strengthened Panda, protected his body, and opened the frontier path that accelerated leveling again. One courageous choice had created a chain of returns no simple card sale could ever reproduce. Ruan Xiaoyao listened while he summarized only the public parts of that progression, still unaware every breakthrough came from infinite Golden Suffix. Even without the hidden mechanism, the visible results were enough to explain why powerful organizations would compete for his future. She warned that national attention could bring recruiters, rivals, spies, and enemies who preferred controlling talent before it matured. Lin Yuan remembered the discounted offer, administrative manipulation, and sudden praise after success, recognizing how quickly public loyalty could change. People who called him foolish before the record would soon pretend they had always recognized his potential. He planned to accept useful resources without confusing professional interest with loyalty or surrendering control of his class development. Lu Boyan remained different because she invested before proof, risking personal savings when everyone else expected failure. The rare iron-eating beast book was now worth more emotionally than every item collected from Hell difficulty. Lin Yuan intended to return stronger not merely for examination rankings, but so his mentor never regretted trusting him with freedom. His fallen parents had fought the abyss without legendary pets, resurrection rules, or safe beginner dungeons protecting their bodies. Their sacrifice did not demand reckless imitation, but it did demand that the strength he received serve something larger than pride. Reporting skin peelers before pursuing the stronghold was one small way to honor that responsibility without abandoning personal growth, while Lin Yuan converted victory into warning, merit, evidence, and safety. The temporary badge flashed again, confirming military command had accepted his evidence and credited both elite corps bounties. Merit points entered his account alongside mapping credit and an intelligence contribution bonus for the regional safety warning. Ruan Xiaoyao laughed that he somehow turned one roadside ambush into experience, loot, military merit, reputation, and improved cooperation. Lin Yuan answered that survival became easier when every action solved several problems instead of creating only one reward. That principle had guided his consulting work before awakening and now shaped the way he commanded summoned creatures. Modern strategy remained his advantage even when his old profession had never involved swords, demons, or corrupted landscapes. He understood investment, logistics, incentives, information flow, and opportunity cost from years spent helping guilds while still powerless. Once awakening, granted force capable of matching that thinking, every previous limitation became fuel instead of permanent identity. The poor student who once saved every yuan could now judge when spending millions on edible weapons produced the highest return, as every golden suffix remained hidden behind visible tactical discipline. The orphan once protected by one retired veteran could now protect trained scouts from threats they never recognized. The summoner once expected to hide behind a slime now walked beside two epic beasts, carrying legendary laws. Most importantly, the boy offered a comfortable fortune had chosen a path where power, responsibility, and freedom remained under his control. Ruan Xiaoyao restored her playful smile and asked whether he still claimed a 99% chance against the stronghold defenders. Lin Yuan reviewed current stamina, clone capacity, observed elite ranges, escape options, and the unknown factor inside the temple. He lowered the estimate slightly, explaining that new information deserved updated confidence rather than stubborn loyalty to an earlier number. The answer amused her more than another boast, because it confirmed his calculations were genuine instead of performative courage. They departed the burned clearing together, shadows expanding ahead while Panda guarded the center and the rejected class kept producing impossible returns, without exposing the secret behind that continuing growth. He still faced danger, expenses, secrecy, and opponents far stronger than anything already defeated. Yet the opening question had been answered completely before the national examination even began. 8 million yuan could have purchased comfort, but it could never purchase the army Lin Yuan was already building. The level 1 pet everyone expected to die had become the unkillable shield, devastating counterattacker, and foundation of that army. The mentor who feared financial ruin had instead given him the first creature capable of carrying legendary inheritance. The corrupt officials who predicted failure now used his national record to advertise the academy they nearly cheated him inside. The wealthy rival who displayed superior gear lost his money, reputation, and illusion of guaranteed class dominance within one morning. The military scouts who ignored a level 4 student later survived because his summons crushed the elite, threatening their entire team. Ruan Xiaoyao, herself a national genius, now treated the younger summoner as a trusted partner rather than an amusing beginner. Those consequences formed the clearest measurement of progression, far stronger than another status screen listing higher numbers. Lin Yuan had moved from mocked orphan to national record holder, military investigator, elite demon hunter, and master of 2 epic summons. He accomplished that transformation without selling his future, joining a controlling guild, or exposing the secret behind his golden growth. The abyss remained enormous, But for the first time, his strength was growing faster than the world could place limits around him. Each new level promised another legendary suffix, another evolution choice, and another weakness that could be permanently removed. That promise did not make victory automatic, because his survival still depended on analysis, preparation, and decisions made under pressure. The skin peeler ambush proved he understood that difference, using knowledge before power and responsibility after violence. As Lin Yuan advanced through the gray frontier, the 8 million offer became proof that everyone else had placed a price on limitless potential. His supposedly trash class had become a self-expanding legendary army, led by a summoner who refused to let poverty or wealth define his ceiling.